how Stoicism enhances emotional awareness and communication in relationships. Welcome back to Stoicism's Social Thought and Change Clips. Today, we're talking about something that shapes every single one of us: relationships. And I don't just mean romantic relationships. This applies to our friends, family, coworkers, and even those fleeting connections we have with strangers. Now, relationships aren't always smooth sailing, are they? Misunderstandings happen. Words get twisted. Emotions flare. But here's where Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, offers us a toolkit to not just manage these challenges, but turn them into opportunities for growth. Today, we're diving into how Stoicism enhances emotional awareness and improves communication in relationships. And trust me, this isn't just theoretical. It's practical stuff you can start using today. 1. Emotional awareness. What's in your control? Let's start with emotional awareness. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is understanding what's within your control. If there's one thing the Stoics drilled into their teachings, it's this: external events are not under your control, but your reaction to them is. Let's apply this to relationships. Imagine you're in an argument with your partner. They say something that stings, maybe even something unfair. What's your instinct? To fire back, right? To defend yourself. But here's the Stoic perspective. Their words, their tone, those are external. They're not within your control. What is within your control? Your response. This doesn't mean you ignore what they said or suppress your feelings. It means taking a moment to pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is it because their words triggered an insecurity? Or maybe because you're carrying stress from earlier in the day? By understanding that your emotions come from within, you shift the focus from blaming others to managing your own state of mind. That pause, that moment of reflection, is where emotional awareness begins. Have you ever tried this in the heat of an argument? It's not easy, but next time you feel your emotions bubbling over, try this. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, this feeling is mine. What can I learn from it? 2. Empathy through Stoic understanding. Now let's talk about empathy. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? This principle is a game changer for relationships. Let's say your friend cancels plans at the last minute. Your initial reaction might be frustration. Why don't they value my time? But pause for a second and ask, have I ever canceled plans because I was overwhelmed? By reflecting on your own imperfections, you create space for empathy. Instead of jumping to conclusions, you might say, hey, I noticed you canceled last minute. Is everything okay? This simple shift from judgment to curiosity can strengthen your bond with the other person. And here's the thing. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with someone's behavior. It means understanding it. When you approach relationships with this mindset, you're not just solving conflicts, you're building trust. Interactive break. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you assumed someone's intentions without really knowing what was going on in their life? How might your reaction have changed if you'd paused and thought, what might they be going through? Take a moment to reflect on that. Feel free to share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've practiced empathy in your relationships. 3. Communicating with purpose. Next up is communication. Epictetus, another Stoic thinker, gave us this gem. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Think about your last disagreement. Did you really listen to the other person, or were you just waiting for your turn to speak? Be honest, it's something most of us struggle with. Stoic communication isn't about being passive. It's about being intentional. It starts with active listening. When someone is speaking, don't just hear their words. Try to understand their emotions and intentions. Here's a tip. After someone shares their thoughts, Repeat back what you heard in your own words. For example, if your partner says, "I feel like you don't spend enough time with me," you could respond, "So, you're saying you'd like us to spend more quality time together?" This technique not only ensures you understand them, but also shows them that you're engaged. And guess what? People feel valued when they're heard. 4. Rational conflict resolution. Let's move to the big one, conflict resolution. If there's one area where Stoicism shines, it's this. Conflicts can escalate quickly when emotions run high. But Stoicism teaches us to approach disagreements with both rationality and empathy. Here's a framework you can use. 1. Pause and reflect. Before reacting, take a moment to breathe and assess your emotions. 2. Identify the root issue. Ask yourself, what is this conflict really about? Often, it's not about the surface issue, but something deeper, like unmet expectations or a lack of clarity. 3. Speak with intent. Instead of accusing, use I statements. For example, say, "I felt hurt when this happened," instead of, "You always do this." 4. Collaborate on a solution. Frame the problem as something you're tackling together. It's not you versus them. It's both of you versus the issue. Have you ever tried resolving a conflict this way? It feels different, doesn't it? It feels productive. 5. The art of letting go. Finally, let's talk about letting go. Not every conflict will end the way you want it to, and that's okay. As Stoics, we must accept that some outcomes are beyond our control. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How many times have you replayed an argument in your head, imagining all the things you should have said? Let me tell you, holding onto that mental baggage only hurts you. When you've done your best to address a conflict, let it go. Trust that you've planted the seeds for better understanding and move forward. So, how does Stoicism enhance emotional awareness and communication in relationships? It teaches us to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. It helps us approach others with empathy, communicate with purpose, and resolve conflicts with rationality. Now here's your challenge. Think about a relationship in your life that could benefit from a Stoic approach. How can you practice emotional awareness, empathy, or intentional communication in that relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, let's explore how Stoicism can transform our relationships and ultimately our lives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.